Hello, everyone, and welcome to our next XOAP live session number 15, I think. Yeah, once again with our CTO, Sinisha. Welcome.
Hi.
As usual, this session will be recorded and uploaded to our YouTube channel at XOAP_IO. If you have any question, you can post it in the right corner in the tab questions. But back to business. What's the topic of our session today? We will give you a short announcement regarding our new free plan, which will be available, which is available since the beginning of the month. Then we will have a short recap of the E2EVC in Barcelona. And Sinisha will guide us a little bit through the AVD topic, Azure Virtual Desktop with XOAP. Just a short teaser about it. And at the end, a little roadmap summarized. But let's begin with our new plans. We have dropped the trial. That means if you create an XOAP account, it is a free account. It's a free plan, so you can use MyXOAP with lifetime access. You do not have to add any credit card over here. On the next point, we have this modular. That means pick and choose the module you would like to use and pay as you use. The third plan is our enterprise plan, which is everything, or where is everything included, and also additional option. We have this managed service provider option you can request if you are a managed service provider. Last but not least, the public segment, which is a special offer for all public customers, especially also for our educational and student section. That's to the plans. So very important, since 1st of November, if you create an account, it is a free plan and it will not be dropped after 30 days. You can use forever at the end. Yeah, we have 3 sessions, at least 4, at the E2EVC in Barcelona last week. It started on the 31st October with the automation masterclass, which was hosted by Sinisha and me. The second one was a session on Friday, which is a strategic positioning of XOAP in the EUC and automation universe. And the third session was then step-by-step walkthrough from Sinisha how to deploy Azure Virtual Desktop with XOAP. And we have also a fourth one that was more community session with Christian regarding what's the purpose of CI/CD configuration as code, desired state configuration in enterprise environments and platforms. But let's go through it. The first session, Sinisha, was our masterclass on Wednesday. Short recap, it was amazing. We have 18 attendees over there. Here we can see a picture of them.
Nice.
What would you say? How was your feeling about the masterclass? What's your feedback from the people over there?
Oh, that's a good question. So I think we had a good combination of people that are on the beginning of their cloud journey and trying to figure out what needs to be done to get into like a completely automated infrastructure as code environment. Then we had people that were like somewhere in the middle, and a few people that already made good progress, and where we also had good feedback on good discussions on the pain points and what can happen and what we should have a look at. So I think the guys that were at the very beginning or were just starting were a little bit overwhelmed by what needs to be actually done to get everything into place, because it's not only about writing code, it's about building teams, creating processes, taking care of security and monitoring and all that stuff. So things that we'll have a look next week in a little bit more detail. So the thing is, I really like the discussions we had. So it was like we started as like a front show, explaining a little bit from where we come from, what pain that we went through and where we are currently. And based on that, we got a lot of different views also on the infrastructure as code topic from different people, and that I like the most. So that it
Yeah.
was more like an interactive stuff that we did there.
Yeah, definitely. That would also be the point I would like to highlight. It's not only that we are talking about, I think the beginning was you created already, or we, over 700,000 lines of code. That was the topic at the end. Yeah.
Mm.
And we are stitching in why automate, what are the core principles, Scrum teams, etc., etc. But the most important thing I would definitely agree is the discussion with the people regarding the different topics and points. Yeah, that was really amazing. So for everybody who is interested, in the masterclass, um, next week, 13th of November, register right now online. Sinisha will make a short version of the masterclass, in around about 2 hours, go through the most important things, talk about the topics, and share all insights with you. And everybody who register to this masterclass will also get the detailed documentation and content of the masterclass we hosted last week over the whole day. So we are really looking forward. Register. I will share the information later on with you guys. The session number 2 was strategic positioning in the EUC automation universe. What does it mean? Where is XOAP positioned in end-user computing and automation, and what's the main focus of what we are doing? At the E2EVC, the frequently asked question is XOAP a competitor of Nerd.io? Nerd.io is a solution to automate Azure Virtual Desktops. And the question was, are we a competitor? We answered this with a little bit details, what we are doing. We are not delivering one solution. We are a modular platform where you be talking about image management, how to deliver customized image management, images, how to deliver software packages in this image build pipeline and on all other workplaces and systems, how to do desired state configuration with an intuitive wizard and GUI, how to do the user environment configuration, and all of these things across tenants, subscriptions, and accounts. And at the end, this is what we do. Is this one use case or is this one competitor? Definitely not. Build your own automation use case, build your own scenario, because you can build it like a Lego system. Define your images, adopt it with applications, configurations, and then automate it across the entire infrastructure. And that's what we deliver for you, a platform to automate entire IT infrastructures and workplaces through one user interface. That was the main topic of the second session, and that's the big picture, how it looks like at the end. Layered, used, pay you up. Use the module you need, pay as you use, and grow as you need with all the dedicated modules we deliver in the entire automation stack for infrastructure and workplaces. Then we have the third session that was how to deploy and manage Azure Virtual Desktop, AVD, with XOAP. And this is something Sinisha will share with you right now, how this look like. And we will also have a detailed session. But first of all, let's start with Sinisha's demo.
Okay, so we don't have much time, so I'll just go through a few simple examples. So based on scripted actions, PowerShell CLI, Azure CLI, Azure PowerShell, we can create different kind of scripts, and they are like as small as possible here in this demo account to just give you an idea of what the script is actually doing. So we can use single scripts to create like virtual networks, application groups, host pools, workspaces, whatever we need inside an Azure Virtual Desktop environment to get it up and running. Also things like Azure keyword secrets that you might need to make a domain join of a machine and stuff like that. And if you maybe look at an example of one of those scripts, maybe like to create a Windows VM, if I go here into details, look at the script that we have here in the backend. So that's something that we are also providing from our GitHub repository called scripted actions at our XOAP.io in GitHub. you have a lot of options that we are creating your parameters to spin up like a Windows VM. And you can edit those scripts here as well. You can see there are like 17 different versions of the script. And what you can do here in scripted action is very simple. You just define certain kind of fields that are required. And that's also like tagged in the script. What is required, we are automatically showing those fields that are required and additional options. And what I'm basically doing here in this script, I'm giving it a name. I could also write a script that does this automatically when you have a naming convention. So that's something that's totally up to you. I give username password for this local user, define a resource group that I can also like insert here from a central parameters location. So I can define all parameters that are, for example, necessary, like the name of a resource group, so that if I create or run multiple scripts that I don't have any typos because I maybe misspelled something wrong. So I can add here centrally available parameters, go through all the things that I need to define. And what I'm also doing here is I'm giving the script an ID of a script that I created with image management. So first of all, what I did was I created an image definition with applications, configurations, ran that image, and then I'm using this image definition that was created here with version 1. For example, if I run an image management, this image the next time, I would have image version 2. I could change it here. And in this way, if I adjust the parameters as needed, I just have to click on run the script. And then it will start and try to create this VM. But in this case, this will fail because this VM that I here already created, if I switch over to my demo resource group for this Azure AVD resource group that I'm using to spin up all those resources and create this environment, this machine is already here, created, and that's a very simple way of automating the creation of different kind of host pools and configurations, not only on one subscription, because, for example, I could, for example, create an Azure Key Vault. If I go here into the details and go to connections, you can see that I assigned this to one connection that I'm doing to a specific subscription in Azure. But what I could also do, I could use the same script, add here multiple connections to my subscriptions, like devqa prod, and use one single script, but spin up those environments through different kind of subscriptions and create a complete like staged environment without too much effort. And that's something where we see here a very large potential to automate your infrastructures. You could also like use another script that maybe searches for a tag in your environment that you created with the VM, and then maybe switch off those VMs every Friday, start them again on Monday morning to reduce costs, or maybe also change the disk size or disk type to reduce the cost even further. So you have a lot of different opportunities. And that's why also Mario said, it's not only AVD, we are much more. So whatever you want to spin up in your cloud environments, XOAP is the way to go to automate your stuff.
For example, definitely that's a good point, yeah, to highlight. It's not only to deliver a AVD, it's the customized image build, it's the application standards, it's the configuration management, desired state configuration. And the most important thing, what you mentioned, is across multiple tenants, across multiple accounts. That's pretty important also for MSPs and as well as for customers. But it's not only the AVD part, you can also build up images on AWS, on Google Cloud, and so on. So choose your platform and deliver the automation. To stay here, yeah, that was a short insight about how it works and what can we build. Next, or on December 4th at 3:30, we will make a more detailed session where we go step by step through this process and automate with you together the entire process of delivering AVD with XOAP. So register right now on our website and yeah, join the live session together with one of our engineers. Yeah, that's it for now for me. Yeah, you can start via this QR code your XOAP account, your free plan. But right now, Sinisha, would you like to highlight something special in the roadmap for this end, or is there something we would like to keep in mind for the next time?
I have a lot to share, new things that we already have in our environment and that we will show in the next update session. But for now, be sure that connect.XO, something that we're working on for on-prem environments, is something that we are heavily investing time currently. And there will be a few more things in the connections part that will be available as preview also in the next weeks. I think we will gradually, when we finish something, we will make it available for the public to get into touch with the first versions we have. And then we will gradually add features, more inventory to the notes section, and also maybe some support for Mac and Linux in the future.
Amazing, amazing, more than I expected. So register for the next product update session. Stay tuned, and we are looking forward to it, Sinisha. Thank you very much
Thank you.
for the insights, dear community. Yeah, as remember or as already said, go to the website, go to events, check out our sessions, register for the upcoming events. We wish you a really successful week. Thank you, and see you soon. Bye bye.
Bye bye.